Hey there, everybody. Eric Chessen, founder of Autism Fitness, here with Tuesday Training, and I have got a good one for you today or tonight or this morning, whenever you're watching this video. All right. Anyway, if you are ready to become an Autism Fitness Certified Pro and join the movement for movement and make fitness and adapted PE programs that are absolutely extraordinary, functional, and remarkably efficient for your athlete or athletes on the autism spectrum or with any neurodiversity, head on over to autismfitness.com. The link is in the description below, and you can be on your way to becoming a certified pro wherever you are in the world. Hybrid program, both online study and our live virtual practicals, so that you get the hands-on, brains-on training that you and your athletes deserve. So today we're going to talk a little bit of programming and how I structure certain parts of the session. Now, in autism fitness programming, we usually have three parts or three segments. We call them phases in each session. So we have our warm-up exercises, somewhat self-explanatory, but this is where we have our mobility, some of our motor planning activities, although motor planning is a very general term. And then we go to our power movements. That's where all of our medicine ball throws, our rope swings, our sandbell slams, that's where they live. And then we spend the majority of our time in strength and stability, because these are the exercises that are going to have the greatest carryover to quality of life and performance of activities of daily living, because the stronger our athletes are through different ranges of motion, i.e. pushing, pulling, squatting, hinging, and carrying, the more capable they are going to be, and often more motivated they are going to be to perform similar tasks in their everyday life. Let's take a look right here as I share my screen. Here we go. So this athlete in particular is getting ready to squat. So I want to bring up a couple things in the environment and in the setup, because these are key. Thing number one is happy Mr. Yellow Ball sitting over here. This was used as a reinforcer. He found it. I did not even know it was in the gym, but somehow he, through his wondrous discovery skills, found, I'm just referring to him as happy Mr. Yellow Ball right now because I don't have a better name for it. So we're starting out on squats here, and as is often the case, our athlete is starting out with a modification. So we have this box, we have an ab mat, shout out to ab mat pad, on the bottom, or on the top of the box rather, to give it a little bit more height. All right. And then we have these circle markers to give him a visual, spatial area in which to place his feet, because this guy has a tendency to bring his feet out a little wider than they need to be. And that, my friends, is also contributing to him internally rotating his knees and hips. And we're seeing a little bit of valgus and hip collapse, which is something that we need to prevent. And in order to do that, we need to understand positioning and where to have the athlete stand and how high or low to have them squat. And of course, here he has the band for upper body support. So let's take a look at this here. So first off, big deal right here. Seems like a small deal, actually a big deal. Bringing the hands out wide is something that we want our athletes to do, because if their hands are in too close on this band, guess what happens? Look over here at the shoulders. Those shoulders are going to internally rotate, and that is not an advantageous upper body position. So we set them up. There we go. That's a pretty good squat. Now look at all the things that are going right here. Okay, feet, number one, we always look at feet. We want the rooting. Those feet are rooted on the floor and flat. That looks great. All right. Knee position, pretty good right here. Hip position looks great. And we have a nice neutral spine looking off to the side a little bit. Not the biggest deal right now. And look at that control. So what we've done here is we have decreased. So he's not breaking parallel with the hips yet, but this range of motion right here is perfectly in line with what he's capable of controlling right now. Big deal. So as he's able to continue to lower that eccentric phase with control and then stand up with those feet on the floor, we are developing some great low body strength for this athlete. And see, these are pretty good. Now, you'll notice the bouncier squats. And again, for this guy, or not again, because I haven't mentioned this yet, this guy is pretty new to programming, and he's new to the squat. This is maybe the second or third time he's ever done squats. So what we're doing is keying into having him control the movement. So you see a little bit of bounce off of those heels. Interesting to note, you can almost go in a 1-to-1 ratio with looking at the feet and then guessing at how well performed the squat is going to be. When those heels come up and there's a little bit more bouncing, the squat is going to be less stable because we have less rooting and control in the ground position. So their heels are down. That looked good. And now let's move it over here. So now one of the things that I like to do is called supersetting. I'm going to pause right here. We typically superset exercises, meaning we have exercise A and then exercise B and then go back to exercise A. I denote it a little bit differently, nothing that I invented. So we'll go A1 and A2. In that case, exercise A1 is this squat, so a predominantly low body exercise. And exercise A2 is going to be this band pull down, a predominantly upper body exercise. Now, you do have some similarities in form. Number one, we definitely want feet to be flat and rooted. Number two, we want a good stacked position here of the low body and of the trunk, right? And three, we want that postural control when the athlete is either squatting or pulling the band down. The band pull down is an outstanding exercise for shoulder, upper back, and grip strength. And we can also get some trunk stability or core stability if we want to use an overused phrase or term as well. So here the goal is first getting those feet rooted and just having that nice, smooth pull down motion here. Also very similar, if not exact, to the squat. And you can see me doing it right now, adjusting those hands so that they are at least shoulder width apart. Because if they are not shoulder width apart, then the shoulders are going to start coming in, and the athlete is going to start internally rotating with the shoulders, and it compromises the effect and efficiency of the exercise. You can see here he's pulling a little bit quickly. Again, this athlete is just getting used to this exercise, first time that he's doing it. And right here, so if you have an athlete who needs more frequent breaks, usually this isn't a physiological, this is more of an adaptive or motivational situation. So your athlete might need some time with happy Mr. Yellow Ball over here, right? So in this case, this athlete tends to take a break, every 3 or 4 sets. Great. He hangs out on the box right here for a minute or two, and then comes back, which is perfectly reasonable, perfectly understandable, and fits in alignment with what someone might do in any other training situation. You do a couple of hard sets, and then you need a longer, more extended break in between. What's great about doing these supersets as well is the athlete is also getting some rest in the transition between the squat and the band pull down, and then from the band pull down back to the squat. So they're getting a few seconds of rest and recovery here. You can see that big yawn, air in, air out, hands in pockets, and hands back out. So here, little bit of prompting to get him back into position for that squat. We want the hands right at chest level because we want this as a guide, not as a pull. And that's something that we spend an abundant amount of time learning during the virtual practical in the Autism Fitness Level 1 certification, which you could be signing up for right now. You can pause. I'll be here. Go ahead and register. And you can see this nice, smooth squat here. Now, I want to bring it back a little bit as the athlete goes faster. And this is where speed is not necessarily our friend. As the athlete goes faster, you can see those knees start to cave a little bit. Not on that one so much. Not on that one so much. There, waiting for it. So you see the knees start to, right there, knees start to buckle inward a little bit on those last 2 sets. So little back step, hold the band, restart, boom, there's a great squat. So that's something that you want to look out for. Again, it's about the exercise, and even more so, it's about the performance of that exercise. Really important point there. All right. So you saw 2 sets of squats, you had that band pull down. There we go. And that's the end of that video right there. So some key takeaways here in terms of programming. Number one, we want to spend the most time in strength and stability exercises, because those are going to be the exercises that have the greatest carryover or generalization to activities of daily living. Two, you want to find the scalability, find the appropriate progression or modification for that exercise, and know what the common compensatory movement patterns are, because we want to eradicate them as much as possible. And three, you can build reinforcement or rest time in when you're running a superset, because you have time in between the exercises, and then you also have time in between those supersets. So if you want to have the athlete, or if the athlete needs a rest between the squat and the band pull down, great. If they can go squat, band pull down, and then take a rest, and then they're with happy Mr. Yellow Ball for a minute, minute and a half, awesome. So there you have it. One of the ways, one of the standard ways in which I program strength exercises. Hope that was helpful for you. Again, I'm Eric Chessen, founder of Autism Fitness. And if you are ready right now to join the movement for movement, go on over to autismfitness.com, register, become a certified pro, and bring the best possible fitness and adapted PE programming to the neuroadaptive individuals that you work with, live with, all 2 of those, or something different. Take care. Thank you for watching.